You're listening to Question Reality with Priscilla Leona, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Hello and welcome to the Question Reality Radio Show. I'm Priscilla Leona, producer and host of this show, and we are coming to you live from Los Angeles, California. For 11 years, we have been providing our audience with entertainment industry career advice. And this show is for you if you are questioning your reality and thinking about pursuing a career in show business. Or if you're already working in the entertainment industry and you're just interested in tips on how to elevate your status. Our guests on this show include Emmy winners, Grammy winners, Tony Award winners, reality TV stars. We have working professionals, which include producers and directors and talent managers, casting directors, singers, actors, dancers, models, musicians, script supervisors. Who else, Albert? We have stunt people, celebrity makeup artists. And in December, we try to bring on some of my friends, entertainment attorneys, because if you're on the right track, you should be having an entertainment attorney. So if you don't, we need to revamp. And you need some tips, advice, and resource information from this show, of course. Now, the list just continues. It's best to go to thequestionrealityradioshow.com and you can see a list of all of the guests for the upcoming year. Now, if you missed any of our shows, here are 3 ways that you can listen to our past shows. Number 1. Go to our archive page on the latalkradio.com website and search for our show title, which is Question Reality, obviously. Number 2, you can go to iTunes, the Google Play Store, or Stitcher.com under the podcast section. Number 3, we have a free mobile app, and you can get that at the App Store or the Google Play Store. Obviously, I don't even think there's another place other than the App Store, the Google Play Store. Or also number 4, this isn't how you can find this, is a request, more or less. Oh, I would love if you would subscribe to our podcast via the Apple Podcast. So just go to your Apple, is it Apple Store where you go? Where do you go? Albert is our technician. Can you?
The podcast app.
Why is your mic way up in the clouds? Look at his mic. It's like, oh, there we go. Where do they go to subscribe to our podcast?
You'll see a podcast app on the app.
Oh, we're not hearing you. Is your microphone off?
There's a podcast app on the Apple phone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's easy. Yeah. So please subscribe. I mean, we have, let's see, our Twitter followers are at, I think I've got like 50,000 on Twitter. It took a long time to get those, but I've been on the air since 2008. And then we've got I think I've got like 15,000 on Facebook. Again, same thing. But we can never have enough. So we need you to subscribe and give us a little thumb and a little like. All right. So do that. Now, finally, if you want to be a guest or refer someone to be on my show to promote themselves, their products, and help listeners with sage career advice, we still got a couple of booking spots left this year. So please go to our official website, which is questionrealityradioshow.com. Again, questionrealityradioshow.com, not latalkradio.com, because that's where we air the show. If you want to submit, you have to go to questionrealityradioshow.com. That's where we have our 2019 guest schedule, and that's where you can submit. Click on the contact link. And that is all you need to do. Now, before we talk to our hot, sexy, sizzling guest today.
Where?
Mr. Jeff Rector.
Where's he hiding?
We are going to tell you about some things coming up. Just 2 little things. Number 1. If you love animals, which I do, not only male animals, but actual animals, and you've watched Dr. K's Exotic Animal ER, and you were obsessed with Dr. Laura Thielen, but sad that she left the show last year. Surprise! Woo! She's back. She has her own show called Dr. T, Lone Star Vet. And the premiere is Sunday, October 13th on the Nat Geo Wild channel. And oh my gosh, I can't tell you how excited I am. I thought she was gone forever. But she had left Dr. K's show last year. And now she's back on screen to give us, for me personally, everlasting joy in the animal world. I love this woman. She has a magnetic, sparkling personality. And when she emailed me and said she had her own, she's like, Priscilla, I have my own show October 13th. I'm like, oh, girl, I got you. I will advertise your show every single week, even after the premiere. So go to, she is so fun. Don't we love Lauren Thielen, Dr. Lauren Thielen? Oh my God. She's got this big Texas-sized sense of humor, sparkling personality. She is fantastic. So go to the Nat Geo channel and check her out. And the premiere is October 13th. Again, you'll love this show.
Is that a Friday?
I don't know.
Friday the 13th?
I hope not. That's not good to air your first show, Friday 13th.
Well, unless you're not superstitious, then it doesn't matter.
That is true. Now, without further ado, I know all you ladies have been looking in that direction.
Hello, ladies.
Looking over there at that hot little thumbnail of love. That is Jeff Rector. What? Yes, I know that's tacky, but everybody loves that little tacky applause. Now,
Can't get enough.
Yes, they love it. Jeff Rector is multi-hyphenated, among other things. Now, let me tell you what he is. He is an actor.
I'd like to find out.
Yes, he is an actor. He is a director. He's a producer. He's a host. He's a spokesman. He's a stand-up comedian. And why we're on the show with him today is because he's also a writer. So that is what we're going to be talking to him about today.
Best-selling author.
Best-selling. Oh, we have moved up. Best-selling author.
Gotta use the BS word.
We got it. BS.
Best-selling.
Yes,
Best-selling.
best-selling author. And
Not
let me
bullshit.
tell you about the name of the book. Okay, so you're going to love this name, right? I was a Playboy rabbit and other adventures. And there you go. Look at that. Yes. Oh, huh? What? We needed another applause for that. We needed women. We needed women to be going, yeah, Jeff. Yeah. Woo. And his book just came out on Amazon.com September the 11th. It is currently in paperback form, I believe. A lot of people were asking me, is it available on Kindle? I did not know the answer. I looked. I didn't see it on Kindle. So I said, I'm going to ask Jeff when he comes on the show. We'll ask him. But currently it is available paperback, $19.99. You're getting
Cheap.
that penny discount. Get that penny discount,
You can
right?
get a drink at Mastro's.
That's right.
For
two
$20.
Starbucks coffees are
That's
just
right.
Now, let me tell you a little bit about it. I Was a Playboy Rabbit and Other Adventures is the first of many books based on Jeff Rector's life, and it chronicles the 5-year period in the 80s when Jeff lived and worked in New York. Unhappy with his career in Los Angeles, Jeff moved to New York to pursue his dreams of working in the entertainment industry and worked as an actor, a model, and a stand-up comedian. And Jeff eventually obtained employment at Playboy Enterprises with with the iconic, legendary Hugh Hefner. Tell you my story about Hugh later.
My man.
Jeff unknowingly became the envy of every guy in Manhattan, landing a job of being a Playboy rabbit. People are like, what? That's the male version of a Playboy bunny. And it was at the world famous Playboy Empire Club. If you lived in New York in the 80s, you know the place. Jeff had some thrills and excitement and adventure. And pretty much everything that you can imagine being in this position in life at that time in the 80s. And
It was
this
a great
book,
position to be in.
I know. I'm telling you, I bet you were in several great positions. So adventure, everything else. So this book chronicles some of his wild adventures and secret stories. And who doesn't want to take a peek into Jeff's highly coveted and unique world of being a Playboy rabbit, right? I I do. And I'm ordering my hopefully I'm going to get that copy before he leaves. Make it an autograph. He said I got to pay extra for that. But you won't have to pay extra.
No, not you.
You
Everyone
won't
else.
have to pay extra. Maybe they could send
all the other beautiful, sexy women out there. Not you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, now I want to know. So go to Amazon.com right now if you're listening and order this book today. And it's a bigger dopamine drip than 2 coffees at Starbucks. And Christ, with the prices,
30 full color photos.
yeah. Ooh, I hope there's
Full
some
color
good
photos.
I hope there's some photos of the type of photos I like. Everybody knows me, you know.
You
I'm
won't be disappointed.
Little
I'm
pervert
sure.
I am. And you're gonna get juicy stories, I think, Jeff. So again, who didn't love the 80s? And
It was a great time to
we
be
want
alive.
Jeff to know. So without further ado, let's welcome Jeff Rector. Yes!
Yay!
Woo! Yes! Stadium
Thank
applause! Yes, there's confetti everywhere.
No. Don't stand, please. Don't.
Yes, they're standing right out
stand,
there.
please.
Welcome to the show, Jeff.
Thank you, Priscilla.
Oh my
Good
gosh.
to see you again.
I know when I first met Jeff Rector, I don't know when you started. It had to be 2008 because I started in May and I think you started before me. But same year, you used to host your own show here at LA Talk Radio,
did.
remember? We used to be in that little room down in downtown LA.
It was called Out There
Yes,
with Jeff Rector.
that's right. And every time it was the one room. So when when he was finished his show, he'd be coming out and I'd be going in. And of course, you see all these stars. I remember the first person that I remember was the guy who was on the show Millennium. What was his name? Or
Lance Henriksen.
Thank you.
Yes. What
Maybe
a
I
great
got
guy.
that wrong.
He
And
too had a
yeah.
best-selling book.
yeah, I know. I heard
About his
about
life.
it. Yeah. So tell us.
It's called Not Bad for Being an Alien
Oh, I like that title. I like that.
because he was in
Yeah,
Alien.
many.
course.
Yes, Alien. Oh, remember when he gripped onto that? He was going to go off the spaceship and he was chopped in half and he had his fingers gripped in that grate. He was ready
Who
to
could
go off.
forget?
I'm like, no, not Lance.
Cinematic moment.
Now, I want to know,
history.
Jeff Rector.
That was Alien, yeah.
I want to know. All right. So first, my first
gonna tell
question
you.
is, first I want to tell you we have something in common with Hugh Hefner. Okay. So Albert used to play with this beautiful blonde girl named Angelica, and she was friends with the Doublemint twins. So
Oh.
they had a gig down at a restaurant in Hollywood somewhere. And
Melrose Place.
Melrose Place. It was called during when Melrose Place was on. And of course, the Doublemint twins were dating Hugh at the time. So,
But you know, I'm a twin who did a Doublemint commercial.
no!
Oh, yeah.
I know you're a twin, but I
Yeah,
didn't
we
know you
did a
did
Doublemint commercial
Oh
ourselves.
my God. Yes, I know you're a twin because I was doing a movie one time and it was right before I met you. And I remember you because it wasn't you, but I thought it was you because it was the movie.
Because it looked like me.
Marty Elkin directed it. I cannot remember the name of it now. But when I saw you, I'm like, oh, hi, remember we were in that movie together? And you're like, I have no idea who you are. Never seen you before. And I didn't know you were a twin. It was your
wasn't
brother.
me.
It
Yeah.
was your brother. But anyway, so the Doublemint twins invited Hugh Hefner to come. He came. Security
Sure.
everywhere. And Angelica's like, oh my God, he only drinks what's that fancy champagne, that like really expensive champagne?
It was it $200?
It was $200 a bottle. Anyway, the owner got like a whole case of it, and Hugh ended up drinking just Coca-Cola. I
Oh,
was like,
no.
sorry about that. Never talked to Hugh myself. But anyway, when I met him and we shook hands, I remember his hands were soft as rose petals. And I said, Mr. Hefner, you can tell by those hands you never did a day's work in your life. And he said, you know what, Priscilla? And I don't plan on doing it either. He loved that.
Well, they better be soft to fondle all those playmates.
I know. So my first question to you is, what? Now you have many different titles. You do a million different things successfully, of course. But let's talk about you being a writer. What made you decide to write this particular book? Because it's been a long time since the 80s. What did it?
You know, originally it was going to be a book about my life and all my Hollywood journeys and the celebrities that I worked with and, you know, all the anecdotes and crazy things that happen. So I just started writing them down. I mean, it was about 4 years, and there'd be a year would go by where I didn't write anything because I've been so busy working. And so I do it when I had a chance, and I went, who knows when I'm going to finish this? So there wasn't a big rush.
Right.
And but a big part of my life was that point in time in the 80s when I worked for the Playboy Club and Playboy Enterprises. That was a really big deal. And 20 guys maybe in the world can say that. It happened at one time, will never happen again.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the basis for it. And when I'm an award-winning filmmaker, so I write my own movies. So I won some writing awards for my short films, and I went, oh, I guess I'm a writer. I just was trying to tell good stories and make movies. So I never thought about being an author or anything else. So it was just a progress of, I've got to document these stories before I get old and forget about.
Oh, right.
What did I do? Huh?
What?
What's my name?
Huh?
What did I have for breakfast?
Huh?
And so I just started jotting them down, and then I'd read through it, and I go, "Oh yeah, that's funny." And then writing is rewriting.
Yeah.
As you know.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is I had probably about 7 or 8 chapters, but I was far from telling the story of my life. But at that point, it was what happened in New York in the 80s. And I didn't have an ending, and so it wasn't on my top list of priorities to finish. It was an ongoing process. And I met a friend. I was on a date. It went pretty good, but not great. But there was a little difference in age. And, she said, I really like you, but I, don't want to move forward. And I said, that's great. You're a lovely person. Good luck. But she had just put out a book through Victory Publishing. And I said, but part of the reason for the date, I have to be honest, was I was interested in her book and wanted to get some information because I was writing my book. Long story short, she put me in touch with the publisher. They read a couple of chapters. They loved it. And they said, we want to publish it. And I'm like, oh, okay, yay, great. And I go, oh, I don't have an ending. And so I went back through and I read it. And the ending kind of talked about being with the rabbits and a fond farewell, because many of us haven't seen each other once that ended. I mean, we all went our separate ways, which was really sad because we were like a family. But I thought, wait a minute. Hugh Hefner just died, the iconic man who created this amazing publishing company, magazine, changed sex in the 60s, changed the whole idea of sex, and that it's okay and it's fun. Hey, what a concept. Didn't believe that in the 60s, I guess. But anyway, it was like, oh my God, here's my ending. I'm going to talk about Hugh and how he passed away, and this was the end of that era. And I had the end of the book.
Wow.
And then it was like, okay, I've got an ending. Let's do this thing.
Now, if you
How's that for a long-winded answer?
No, it's actually not. I've had longer, believe it or not. Now, for people who may think, I don't know if that book is for me, what would you say your target audience is? And if you don't think the book is for you, why should you buy it anyway? Because it is for you.
Well, I was going to say, first thing, my book isn't for you. So don't buy it. Keep your $19.99. We don't need your charity. I don't need your charity.
No.
That's a really great question. It's really a fun read. I think no matter who you are or what your background is, male, female, whatever, it's fun. It's a fun read, and it's a point in time that maybe, these millennials don't even know about. And when I talk to friends that lived in the 70s and the 80s, we will never, ever experience that freedom, that we could do whatever we wanted. The sky's the limit. And, I would say there's a lot it was drug, sex, and rock and roll. I mean, it really was, and everybody was just having fun. Nobody was getting hurt, except in Vietnam, which was a whole other thing we won't get into, but it was just a great time. And so you'll at least laugh. You'll at least get a laugh out of it.
So lots of comedy in
Lots
there.
of comedy.
Lots of funny story.
Being a comedian, hopefully that translates into the book, because they can't see me in a microphone, but it's not a stand-up routine. It's my life story. And also my trials of being an actor and being a waiter and a bartender and a chauffeur and all these other things that not only actors, but dancers, singers, anybody in the entertainment industry, anybody that wants to be successful in Hollywood or in the entertainment industry anywhere in the world, you've got to be persistent. You've got to love it with all your heart. It's not a hobby. Oh, that would be fun to be an actor. Oh, and so I hope it's inspirational too. And if one person reads it and said, "Oh, it made me laugh," or one person reads it and says, "It really inspired me to work harder to be successful," then I feel it was worth doing.
What's the feedback been? Because I'm sure people have come back to you and said, "Oh, I read it," and what are they saying? Oh, it made.
They're not saying anything. To be honest, I don't know if that's good or that's bad, but I haven't gotten any feedback. Actually, a friend of mine, Tom Calabro, who was on Melrose Place.
Oh, yeah.
We were speaking of that. He was the doctor on the show.
Yeah.
We played tennis weekly. Terrific actor, terrific guy. He goes, "I don't understand I didn't get it. What the point of the book was." And I was like, well, I say it right in the introduction,
Yeah.
I'm not some guru that's going to impart this.
Part the Red Sea.
Part the Red Sea and give you some deep meditational knowledge. It's just fun stories, and and it's funny because I would have thought he'd be one of the first people to get it, and he didn't. It kind of went over his head, which is fine.
Yeah.
But
how did you prepare?
Shy of that, I mean, I will say yes.
Yeah.
People have read it, or they say I'm halfway through it, and it's really great.
Okay.
So I haven't gotten a review from a company yet, but Rotten Tomatoes said they're very anxious to read it. That was no.
Gosh, you say Rotten Tomatoes.
We give you 10 tomatoes if we read it. That was what Rotten
Do they
Tomatoes.
do book
I don't
reviews?
know.
They do
Probably not.
But yeah. So what were your challenges? Because everybody who writes a book says, "Oh, I had this challenge and that challenge," because this is the first book you wrote, so there had to be something. And what were the challenges, and how did you overcome them? That you could give tips to a new writer.
The biggest challenge was finishing the book.
Yeah.
Because there was just so many stories, and I'd be on a plane, with 5 hours to kill, and I could watch a movie, and I said, you know what, I'm going to take that time, and I'm going to write more. So as I'm writing, all of a sudden, something will pop into my head. Years later, I worked for Jean-Claude Van Damme. I was his photo double in Double Impact. My twin brother and I both were. We were in Hong Kong for 3 months on that movie. So that's a huge Double Impact,
Yeah.
So a lot of the chapters are titles of movies like I worked on Wall Street, Cocktail. We'll get to those in a minute that are in the book.
Please.
But I've got all Star Trek: The Next Generation, all these iconic Father Dowling mysteries, all these iconic shows that I worked on will be the title of a chapter. And I go, how could I forget about that? And I would just put the name of the show, and then I'd go back to it and go, okay, here's another chapter. But writing it was easy for me because it wasn't like a novel where like, it was a misty night in London. The clock had just struck midnight, yawn.
It was a garbage-infused night in the 70s when they wouldn't didn't pick up the trash in New York.
I had just shot myself with heroin, and
But I
Who
was at the
knows?
Playboy
But
Club.
I
I don't
was
know
at
what
the-
the hell you
but-
were doing when they had the trash
That's-
strike in the 70s in New York.
what happened?
I was a Playboy rabbit.
I was a Playboy
Somebody
garbage
took my
man.
trash out for me.
Get the trash out of here.
No, what?
But it
yeah.
was it just was easy for me because I was just recounting my thoughts. It wasn't I was trying to write clever dialogue or create
Yeah.
characters.
You were
I'm just
telling
I'm
the
just
truth.
telling it like it is. And these days I have to say, there's a lot of censorship out there.
Yeah.
And, especially with comedians. Oh, God, I can't do that joke because I'm going to offend this person. And whoops, I can't do that anymore. Or a general group of people.
Oh, I know.
And it's killing comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, comedy used to be
Yeah.
the one place you could go and say whatever you wanted. And people went there with an
Yes.
expectation to laugh
Yes.
and not be offended.
Or they're finding some of our best iconic comedians, and they're bringing up the footage of stuff they said from decades
Oh,
ago.
yeah. Now they're saying, oh, look what a horrible person this is. It's terrible. It really is terrible. And I went, oh, maybe I should tone this down. Oh,
I hope
maybe.
you
And I went,
didn't.
you know what? I'm not going
No,
to do it. I'm
no.
not going to pander to anybody.
No.
I'm going to write the book the way I want to write it. And if you don't like it, screw you.
Yeah.
In fact, in the
I love
in the
that.
introduction, where is it?
Oh, I
want to
love
quote
that.
it.
Yeah, it's just
wanna-
terrible how
I wanna
many
quote it,
comedians right now
perfectly.
are going through that. So leave comedians alone.
Anyone who
There's-
writes a book about themselves or any topic for that matter hopes that at the very least it will be relatively well received and readers won't say WTF were they thinking. I hope that's not the case. If just one person reads this book and has a better outlook on life or has gleaned a little wisdom from my whimsical ramblings or at the very least got a chuckle or two, I'll feel that writing this book wasn't in vain. If, however, after reading my book, you feel like you were completely ripped off, cheated, and wasted valuable time for your short existence on this earth, I will be happy to give you a complete and total refund. Shipping costs not included.
That's right. Not
So,
getting your shipping back.
there's my there's my
that's
disclaimer.
good.
I'll give you your money back if you found it was a waste of your time.
Yeah, well, that's good. That tells us that it's going to be good.
And we'll
Because
see
who the
has
hell
balls-
wants to give
we'll
the
see who has the balls to
$19.99?
ask for their money.
Now, what is?
I'm kidding.
I know that you wrote so much, and it's very hard for a writer to narrow down what their favorite chapter was or part of their book. Can you have you thought about it, and can you read something that's your favorite part, even if it's just one line?
I just did.
No, that's
Didn't I?
not part of it. I want to hear
that was the
juicy
introduction.
stuff.
Oh, that was the
I want to hear
introduction.
something juicy because
Juicy
I
stuff.
will give them a second to find something. But
Juicy stuff. It's all juicy stuff.
It's all
That's what-
juicies,
that's
and there are color
So the
pictures
great
in
thing
there
about
too.
this book is
Jeff
Wait a
said
minute,
there's
let me,
color pictures, so we'll give him a minute
this
to.
is a wide angle, I
we'll
think.
give him a minute to find his
This
favorite
is a
part.
wide
But
angle. There's
there's it.
a picture of the rabbits.
Yes. Oh, look, there's the
It's a
rabbits.
gaggle of rabbits.
It's a
or
gaggle of
a
rabbits.
Bunch of rabbits. I don't
I
know
love that.
what you call. Hold on a second.
We are going to
This
get
book-
something. Give us juicy, like
This
give
book
us something.
there's me with some.
You've
we
been with
had
everyone.
a jungle
Oh my
theme night.
gosh,
So
yeah.
here's me with some jungle bunnies.
Oh my gosh, some jungle buddies. Now you're in there with quite a few famous people. You not? I mean,
am
and
David Hasselhoff. Well,
tell us
listen,
some stories.
Let me. Okay, let's.
Give us some stories, Jeff.
The whole book is fun. I mean, if you would ask me these questions, I would have written down an
That's
answer
all right.
for you. but-
That's all right. It's all improv here.
Yes,
I
and we
mean-
love, and we come from improv backgrounds, so we love that. Um,
Well, you've been with so many
I will tell you one story, and
Story, yeah.
I'll try to encapsulate it.
All right.
So, working my way up to be an actor. I did a lot of jobs. Like I said, I was a bartender, I was a waiter, I was a chauffeur, but I was a valet parker for the valet company, VLAET. We wore the red jackets with the white shirts and the little black bow ties. We did the private car parking for all the big parties in the Beverly Hills and Bel Air and whatnot. I worked my way up and got into the Playboy Mansion. So I was parking cars at the Playboy Mansion. I'd open the door, and the playmates would get out, and sometimes they weren't wearing very much. And you'd say, "Oh, good to see you, ma'am. Have fun." And so me and my friends would joke, and we go, one day we're gonna sneak in one of the parties. We're gonna take off our jackets, throw it in the bushes, and of course we didn't. We would have been instantly fired, and it was a great gig, so we weren't gonna screw that up. But years later, I said, I told these guys, I said, one day I'm gonna get into the Playboy Mansion, and I'm gonna be here because I'm invited, because I'm a somebody, not because I snuck in.
Right.
So, fast forward, Playboy Club, that ended. I got invited up to the Playboy Mansion. I'll get into that in a minute. So the very first time I'm invited to the Playboy Mansion, you get in a shuttle bus. Half close friends can actually drive up the hill and park, and valet park. The rest of us would get in a shuttle van of about 40 people at UCLA, because Holmby Hills is in Westwood, where UCLA is, and it would shuttle us up the 15-minute drive up the Playboy Mansion. So I get out of the shuttle van, got my wristband on. There's super. The president doesn't have this kind of security, and so I get off, and there's 10 valet guys all standing in a line out front. And I go up to one of the guys and I go, "I used to be you," and he goes, "What?" I go, "Yeah, I used to work for valet. And 10 years ago, I told my friends when I was parking here, just like you, I said, one day I'm going to be invited up to the Playboy Mansion because of who I am." And I look him in the eye and I go, "And tonight's that night." And his eyes just went, "Oh." And then I go, "And you can too." And he just went, "Yeah."
His chest popped
His
out.
chest popped out. His eyes lit up. Yeah. And I go, "Have fun tonight."
Yeah.
And I went inside.
Oh, you made
And
his night.
it was that kind of surreal moment. It just happened.
Yeah.
And I wasn't thinking about it or
Just
doing
popped
it.
in your head.
It just popped out, and it's like, hey, if I made the guy's on Skid Row now, he's homeless, but I tried to help him. I tried to give him a leg up. I tried to encourage him. No, I don't know. No, I don't know. But I hope it was some encouragement, and people saw, just like I saw celebrities that I liked. Charlie Sheen, Tom Cruise. I grew up watching their movies, and the next thing I know, I'm in a movie with them, and it's like,
Tell us. Okay, let's
It's
do
like
Tom
crazy.
Cruise. What was your experience with Tom Cruise? Love me, Tom Cruise. Love me some Tom Cruise. Do you know everybody, the studios now require that if you are the star of a movie and it's an action movie, do you know, and I heard Graham Norton talk to Tom Cruise about this. He was embarrassed, but they now require you to do the Tom Cruise run. That is the template for doing the action runs in movies. You know how he
What?
keeps it? Yes, and he was embarrassed. He's like, "Why do you have to
I
bring
did
that
the
up?"
Jeff Rector run.
Yes.
Nobody told me. I just did my own run in my action movies.
Okay, so
But-
we're back to Tom.
Um,
Love Tom.
well, I'll start by saying how much time goes by so
We got
fast.
35. I know. We got 15 minutes.
Time goes by so fast
does.
when you're having fun.
We have
That's
a
right.
gong that rings at 45.
Oh, yeah.
Give
We
us a
don't want to.
5-minute
Jeff, be
warning.
prepared because there's some gong going on. Be
Gong.
careful. Because I want to hear Jeff. I want to hear about Tom, and I want to hear about my
Wait a minute,
love,
that was
Jean
supposed to be
Claude.
gong, not dong.
Gong.
So
Gong.
see where you're going with this show.
Yes, I do.
So,
Ding dong.
so I'll talk about Tom Cruise in a
Yeah.
second, but I was an extra before the Playboy and everything happened. I was an extra. I was acting. I was modeling. I was doing whatever I
Everything,
could,
yeah.
waiting to pay my bills. And of course, we all know New York is a very expensive place
Right.
to live. I'm just trying to, keep my head above water. And but my father was a big voiceover guy, and he got me into the Don Buchwald agency, which was a top
Okay.
commercial agency at the time. So I go to this Christmas party, and there's this tall guy. He's like 6'4", long black curly hair, and really funny. And I'm like, he's talking about his days in radio and how he worked his way up, and turned out to be Howard Stern.
Oh,
And so I didn't know who this guy was, and this was way before he was king of all media
wow.
and all that. And so anyway, he was a really great guy, and of course, Don Buchwald has helped him make millions in his career. But anyway, so I'm doing extra work, and I get a call from the casting director. She says they're doing a big Oliver Stone movie called Wall Street, starring Charlie Sheen. It was the follow-up to Platoon that Charlie just did for Oliver, and they're looking for a stand-in. She said, "You're perfect." And I'm like, "All right." She goes, here's the thing. She said, Oliver is very particular, and so's Charlie. They're going to work you the first day, and if you do something they don't like, you don't talk to, and the rule of stand-in, you don't pal up with them, you don't talk to them, you're there to do a job, and if they talk to you, that's great. Otherwise, you don't say boo. She says, if they like you, you're in. If they don't like you, you're out. I go, I got it. So I show up for work. It's the opening scene of the movie when Charlie's going to work, and he's on the subway, and he's on the streets of New York going to the trading center. So it was a pretty grueling day. We literally were running around. I didn't do the Tom Cruise run, but we were running around. I did the Jeff Rector, Charlie Sheen run. We're running around, and so they go, okay, that's a wrap. And the first AD comes over to me, goes, great job, Jeff. We'll see you tomorrow at 7. Ooh. And that was it. So I worked with Charlie for 3 months.
Wow.
On Wall Street. Michael Douglas, Daryl Hannah, his father, Martin Sheen, Sean Young, Terrence Stamp. It was an all-star cast. And my head is spinning. I'm like, these are the people I'm working with. I used to tell Michael Douglas dirty jokes every day and kept him laughing. And Charlie and I, palled up and went out a couple of times. So anyway, that's a whole chapter called Wall Street, and that's chock full of fun stuff.
How did you get hook up with my boy Jean-Claude Van Damme with the legs on the 2 chairs? Woo!
Yeah. He's got strong legs. His spinning back kick was his famous move.
So exciting.
But that all came about because of all this other stuff that all led up to that years later. But so I ended Wall Street. Charlie and Oliver liked me, gave me a part in the movie. I was one of the stockbrokers in the movie, which was huge for me at the time because I was in, a top.
Now I gotta rent it and
Oliver
find you.
Stone
All
movie.
right.
I'm the only one on the screen for 4 seconds.
Okay.
I had one line, but I'm the only one on the screen. So then I had money in the bank. I was living large. I didn't have to, jump into a waiter's job. So I was kind of taking a little vacation, really enjoying my life. And I get a call from the same casting director. And she says they're shooting Cocktail with Tom Cruise in town, and they're looking for his stand-in. And I go, hey. And she goes, yeah, I know. I already talked to them. You're in.
Oh, yes.
Because, all they had to say was he worked for Charlie, and that was good enough for them.
Yeah.
So here was the difference. Charlie was a great experience. He invited us to his pad to party, and we went out together. That rarely happens, but Charlie's a really cool guy, and we hit it off. I didn't expect Tom Cruise to be my best friend, but, you certainly don't expect the same kind of experience. And it wasn't. Tom was very reserved. He was very focused on his job, as you'd expect him to be. But instead of 3 months, it was only 8 days in New York, because then they were going to go to Jamaica for the rest of where most of the movie takes place with him and Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah.
So we're all like, Jamaica! Party! Paid vacation! Jamaica! And the day before our last day, they goes, Jeff, got some bad news for you. I go, what is Tom okay? They go, oh, no, he's fine. It's just that we're not going to be taking you to Jamaica. We're gonna be hiring locals down. No. It was that Home Alone moment, no.
Gosh.
And so it was like, and I'm counting my money, it's like I'm going to be out of New York. I'm going to be in Jamaica. I'm going to make bank. because you get per diem
Yes.
and hotel and everything else when you're on location. But it didn't happen, but I was grateful, and
You're like, damn, no
you know, I got
cocktails
to
for
work
me.
with Tom Cruise, which
Yeah.
was a huge honor,
Oh,
and so that chapter's a little shorter.
that's all
obviously,
right.
'cause
Tom was
it
there.
was
You
only
were
8
there.
days. I was there. Oh, so it's like 3:00 in the morning, and we were doing nights, so we started at 6 p.m. and would go to 6 a.m.
Yeah.
all night,
Yeah.
and that's brutal because then you've got to sleep all day to
throws
then.
you off. Yeah.
So it's about 3 in the morning, and I'm just crawled up in a ball in some back room, and I fell asleep because they didn't need me. So the first AD comes over and he kicks me, and I'm like, what's going on? Where am I?
Damn.
He goes, Roger Donaldson was the director of Cocktail, who did No Way Out
No way out.
with Kevin Costner and Sean Young, who was
Mhm.
also in Wall Street. Great director. He goes, Roger wants to know if you want to get in the scene. I'm like, yeah, I understand. He goes, no, in the scene. I go, what? He goes, do you want to do it or not? I'm like, yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay. I'm like, I'm up.
My God.
So it's a big party scene. It's the scene in the movie where Tom Cruise brings a bottle of brandy into the floating club owned by Brian Brown.
Okay.
Brian Brown's wife in the movie is Kelly Lynch.
Ah.
Beautiful actress,
Yeah,
Kelly
yeah, yeah.
Lynch. And so we're in the club scene, and there's a guy standing at the railing, and he's got glasses on. And Roger says, "Get that guy in the glasses out of there, and get Jeff." yank this poor schmuck off the railing, and they put me in there. So he goes, "Kelly, come over here." He brings Kelly Lynch, Jeff Rector. Kelly, nice to meet you. Kelly, on action, you're gonna come up to Jeff. You're old friends. You recognize each other. There won't be any, we won't hear the dialogue, but obviously you're going to have a little chit chat. You're going to give him a little kiss,
Yeah.
and then
Woo.
and that's it. She goes, great. So he goes, action. So she comes over, and I'm like, hey, good to see you. She says, you look great. Yeah, you too. They don't hear what we're saying, but we're playing the scene, and then we go in, and we kiss each other. Cut. Wow, that was great, guys. Let's do it again. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, yeah, nice to see you. You look great.
Woo! Mwah.
Cut. Really great, guys. This time, Jeff, just after you kiss her, look over at Tom and Brian and give them a look like,
I got you, girl.
I got you.
Yeah.
That's better than what I was thinking, but I got you, girl.
Yeah.
So, hey, you look great. Got your girl.
Yeah.
He goes, great. Kiss her again.
Lord.
Kiss her again.
Woo!
Kiss her again.
Oh my God.
I'm like, I'm loving this guy.
Yes.
He goes, okay, great. That's moving on. And so I love telling the story because I got to kiss Kelly Lynch
Oh
before
my
Patrick
gosh.
Swayze kissed Kelly Lynch because she went on to do Roadhouse with him as the next
my
movie. So that's
gosh.
one of the stories in the book,
Oh,
just to kind of give you an
look
idea
at
of how
that
fun
story.
it is.
My God.
Kissing
But
Kelly Lynch.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh,
Ooh, we're
my God.
getting Jean-Claude Van
there's
Damme. Hit me with a...
there's the gong.
We
And
love
I
the
actually
gong.
ran into Kelly years later at Danny DeVito's
Oh.
4th of July party, and we had a big laugh because it was like 10 years later, and we, and it was just like, hey, we were and
Yes.
we kind of had a nice laugh about it. Jean-Claude Van Damme. So, the stand-in thing, I got a lot of mileage out of that.
Yeah.
I was Richard Gere's stand-in on Pretty Woman. That's a whole nother chapter, but that was after this, so that's in the next book. All the
Okay.
Jean-Claude, Pretty
Oh,
Woman,
I
all these
see.
other are in
the
the
next
next book because
book.
it's
I
a
got
later
it.
time in history. So I've got
Okay.
5 books.
Oh my
I
gosh.
got 5 books of this. If you
Look.
guys keep buying,
I keep
There's me on the
buying.
back.
Oh my gosh, the stories. So we
so
know
anyway,
that this
so-
book is
so-
going to be like who you just mentioned. Real quick, who else? Because maybe there are people like, I want to. Who are my favorite stars that he was at? What other people are in this book? That they could look
David
for?
Hasselhoff,
Yes,
the
the Hoff.
So at the Playboy Mansion, everybody's equal.
Yeah.
No matter if I met Ben Affleck and was hanging out with Jack Black and David Hasselhoff and all these guys you would never usually get to meet at a
Right.
party or chit chat or anything else. But at the Playboy Mansion, everybody's equal because nobody gets in that door
Yeah.
unless there's somebody.
Yep.
And because it's such a fantastic, loving, positive, sexual vibe going on,
Mm-hmm.
it's the nicest. If you're a
Yeah.
dick, you're gone.
Yeah.
And you don't get invited back.
Mhm,
So
mhm,
everybody, even if they're a dick, they're
Yeah.
on their best behavior. We're in the Playboy Mansion, but Michelle Rodriguez. I met James Franco a few years before that. I'm a TV Academy member, voting Emmy member, and James he did the James Dean story, which is what made him
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
If you haven't seen it, but I see James and I go, "Hey, James, Jeff Rector." He goes, "Oh yeah, Jeff, how you doing?" "Great, man. Good to see you." And he's with some beautiful blonde, of course. And he goes, "Oh, Jeff, do you know Paris Hilton?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, hey,
Paris
Paris.
Hilton.
Hey, Paris.
Hey.
Loved your video. Huh? How you doing?"
Loved your video. Who
fan.
didn't love that
Big
video?
fan. So,
Big fan of your
you know,
work.
it was like, of course he's with Paris Hilton, And Bill Maher's always up there. He was a
Yeah.
big a Playboy guy. Jack Black. I go, "Hey, Jeff Rector." He goes, "Hey, man."
Oh my gosh, you do
How
him
you
so
doing?
well. Oh my God,
He's
we loved
exactly
him.
like that
Now,
in real life.
Real
so.
quick, because we want to get this in for you. You do so many things, but one of the things that you do is stand-up comedy.
Right.
You're a producer, you're a director. We listed his credits. You
I've
also
got 2 movies
you got
coming
2
out this
That's
year.
what I wanted to know.
I'm
What's
doing
going on?
I've got the book. In case you didn't
Yes.
know. In case you didn't know about
I was a
that.
Playboy Rabbit.
And I'm doing a new TV series called The Circuit
Oh wow!
this week. So
You're shooting this
life
week, or
is-
it's coming out this
I'm
week?
shooting this week.
Oh, you're shooting this week.
I'm in
okay.
a film called Surge of Dawn, which is a crossover. Surge of Power is the first gay superhero
Okay.
in a feature film
Oh,
before Marvel,
Okay.
even. And then Dawn is this female vampire. So what a better
Ooh.
mashup than the first gay
This
superhero?
is your
and-
second vampire. You did a
Female
movie
vampire.
revamped a couple
That's
years ago
right.
that
I
was a
wrote, directed,
vampire.
produced my own movie. But anyway, life is really great right now.
Yeah, and plus you are the director of the Burbank Film
International Film Festival that just ended. So really, I'm on a vacation now. But now the work's still coming in, so there's no rest for the weary, right?
So are you going to go on tour to promote your book, or you're
I
just
hope so.
doing it on
Yeah,
Amazon?
no, I'd love to do some signings in some bookstores. We're setting that up.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe you could
get
go
on
back
some one of the
to-
morning shows in
Yeah.
LA and do some of those.
Maybe you could go back to the actual place where the Playboy Empire Club was in New York and have someone shoot some
I
footage.
could. It'd be interesting.
That would be good.
Actually, it'd be very interesting to see
Yeah.
what's there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd
Now,
love that. Look,
but
I'm
you can
always
go to,
thinking.
JeffRector.com,
JeffRector.com.
www.jeffrector.com.
He's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
I'm
all at Jeff
setting up,
Rector.
I'll be setting up a website just for the book,
Okay.
which I haven't even gotten around
Oh,
to.
yeah.
Things are so crazy. But it's just a great time right now. It's great to see you, and I'm so happy to be
I
here.
know. And if somebody wants to get a book autographed, go to jeffrector.com and send him a contact and request it. I mean,
Yeah,
you'd
or
be
just
up
go to
for it.
Amazon.com, type in "I was a Playboy Rabbit."
Yeah.
Bing.
Get the book, but how would
It'll
they
pop
get
up.
it autographed? Some people
Oh,
want
you
it.
can
Yeah.
you can pay the extra $5.
No, not
That was
really.
the yeah, seriously.
Oh, it
but,
is?
Yeah, but
Oh, I didn't know that.
that's the publisher. That's not
That's the
me. They go,
publisher.
"Oh yeah, it's $5 more if you sign it." I'm like, okay.
Oh, okay.
So-
I didn't know that.
So you don't
right.
have to. The other thing, as I told you, it's full color photos. Ooh,
Yes, look at
that's
that.
my fire.
Is
iron.
that you? No.
That
Woo!
was when I was-
Yeah, but look
when
at
I
this outfit. Let
when
me
I
get
was
it a little
when I was-
closer to the
when I was
camera.
still a stud.
Look at
Um,
this. So, real quick, I don't know
could
where
have-
the Facebook
I
thing
could
is.
have done it in black and white and been cheaper to print and made a little more
Look
profit.
at that little cutie
But I wanted to make it a
outfit.
good book, and
Huh?
I'm not so much into making money as I am to just putting out a good product because my name's on it.
And then you got lots of, so just looking, you got lots of art. There's some articles. There's lots of pictures in here.
122 pages of fun.
122 pages of fun. And you could just clip this right out, put it on your bedroom wall, get some Vaseline. No, I'm not saying a word. That's terrible. I'm a pervert. No.
I'm not saying a
but
word.
Anyway, so we are excited. And if they want to know more about you, they can go to jeffrector.com.
They can
or
look me up
follow
on
you.
IMDb and see all my credits.
But give him Jeff will not turn down any little thumbs or fingers. So go to Facebook, Twitter, give him a little thumb, a little finger. He's accepting.
No finger, just the thumb.
What?
Please.
You got to do the finger. Oh no, it's a yeah. I
That's
don't know.
The way
whatever
you said it.
do.
Give me a finger.
Well, you got to use your finger to give.
You
got to
the other finger. Oh, your
forefinger
to
follow him. Yeah,
the forefinger.
Follow him. Yeah, the forefinger.
I got it. Not the middle finger.
And you got to see Jeff. I hope you put that on your website, like your upcoming shows and stuff.
I'm going to.
Actually get on his email list because he always sends out information about his upcoming shows when he does comedy. And you can tell he is hysterically funny. So, Jeff Rector, thank you so much.
My mother thinks so. Thank you so much, Priscilla.
You. Oh, my God. We look
much.
forward to
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you
Really
next week on
it.
Question Reality. Bye.
Bye.
You're listening to Question Reality with Priscilla Leona, right here on LA Talk Radio.